know what you're thinking. Wow. What's that you got there? It's my turtle in a pink hat.
Pink Pony Club.
Isn't that cute? But I also got this. I pre-ordered it. And now it's mine. To own forever. It will be an heirloom for my brother's children. Manly's currently admiring it, you can tell. And I know what you're thinking. Wow, girl, it's been since November. And now it's almost April. Actually, for me, right now. Today, it is the Ides of March. And what have we done? I don't see any stabbing. Why aren't we stabbing our big, corrupt political figures? Like we used to. But today we're talking about Twilight. Also, I went to Comic-Con. This was my fit. I went to Comic-Con as a Slytherin. I know what you're thinking. How could a Slytherin be so bad yet look that good? That was not intentional. It is because I'm actually a Ravenclaw. But I already ordered the patch and sewn it onto my fit before I took the Harry Potter test. The Pottermore, I think is what they call it. Now this thing right here, he's a Slytherin. Slytherin. Griffin Diva. Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff. Hunty Puff. Ravenclaw. I have one, but I won't say it. But it's Raven. Creativity, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. That's what that one is. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. It's also thundering really bad outside, like bad thunderstorm. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's like, it's pretty bad right now. But who am I to stop this party? But I also just had to flaunt off my set that I spent a lot of U.S. American dollars that I worked hard for at my job as a librarian. Low-key librarian, I'm not a librarian. But just look at it. Can we look at it for a second? He just grabbed my hand with his. Oh! No, stop. You know what? Go up here. I can't tell. I don't know if turtles are scared of thunderstorms. I've always heard, like, snapping turtles will let go of you if they bite you when it, like, thunders, but what does he do? There's no telling. Anyway. Edward and Bella. Jacob. And then down below we got Carlisle, Rosalie, Alice, Charlie, and Jacob. And it came with Bella's truck, but I forgot it. So it's not here with us. Stop. I think he's trying to get out of his hat. I have my feelings about Pink Pony Club. I love it. That's one of her good songs. Me and him get down to it sometimes. But this is unacceptable.
I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club.
He's just not feeling Fierce Diva today, and that's okay. You don't have to always feel Fierce Diva, because I am not wearing makeup right now, because why not? So I probably look nasty. I'm not even wearing earrings. I'm wearing my other two piercings. I'm not even wearing earrings. I'm really just embracing natural beauty. Anywho, to quote Eliza Hamilton, and who lives, who does, who tells your story, can I show you what I'm proudest of? I got this poster of Twilight, and I got this one from my work. They found it upstairs for me, and they said I could take it home, and I actually cried that day. I also said that I was quitting because I got what I needed out of it, but I am still working there, so I haven't done that yet. Now I know what you're thinking. What are we here talking about? Nonsense again? All you do is do unscripted nonsense on this weird podcast that has 7 subscribers. Yeah, but today we're talking about my love for Twilight and how much I hate it. You see, Twilight became a part of my life when I was in the 4th grade. I think that's when New Moon came out. I remember I got the book New Moon for Easter, and I would read it in between like silent reading time, and I would like purposely not, you know how we were. I would purposely read it with it open, and then I'd lay it flat down with the pages down on the table so people could walk by when we went to lunch and see that I was reading New Moon because Twilight just came out. Because it came out like November 21st, 2008. I was 10. Yeah, I was in 4th grade. Anyway, but, yeah. Twilight is one of those things you love because you grew up with it. Even if you didn't grow up with it, it was just this big phenomenon that everyone was just like, wow, why can't it be me? But can we talk about how problematic it is? Can we talk about the time period of Edward and Bella's love and how I'm concerned for Bella, her well-being? Let me use the internet here and pull up their timeline of relations because it's a little crazy. Okay. So. Ouch. He's hurting me. So. In the books. Well, in the movies, it's like March, early March, mid-March, or something like that. In the books, it's January 18th, 2005, whenever she starts school in the first book, Twilight. And, no, she doesn't start January 18th. I can't remember. She first meets Edward. Well, yeah, it'd have to be January 18th, because that's her first day in biology. She first meets him January 18th. And, of course, he did the whole thing with her, and he was just like, P.U. And of course she like, am I stinky? Am I smelly? What's wrong? Like, why doesn't he like me? And then in Midnight Sun we find out she is a blood singer, and then he's just like, I gotta go to Alaska. I gotta get out of here. I can't handle this. And then his siblings are like, just kill her. Just eat her. I mean, like, we could just, one less person to worry about here. Just kill her. And he's like, I can't do that. It's against my morals. Whatever. And then from January 18th to March 8th, Turtle Butt, they start dating. That's very fast. It's very Mormon of them. And they date from March 8th to, well, let's just say they broke up on her birthday, September 13th. It was 3 days after her birthday, so September 16th. But they break up. So they dated for a few months. Because New Moon essentially starts with her birthday. And let me just say, Edward and New Moon made me very angry. Because for 3 days, because her birthday happens, the whole paper cut. Ow, as Manly gives me one. That whole ordeal. And for 3 days, he just, like, doesn't really talk to her, doesn't really explain anything. And she's like, in her head, in the books, she's like, I really need to talk to him. Like, I really need to say something to him, but I don't know what to say. But, we'll come up to it. It will come up to that. Like, we'll talk about it. And he's just avoiding her. And then he's like, come take a walk with me. And breaks up with her in the woods, knowing how she is, knowing how she's grown up with her mom, Renee, and how she can't be left alone. And he's like, I'm gonna leave her alone in the woods. And does. And then, of course, all that whole thing happens in the best 3 chapters of any book ever. October, November, December, to show her depression. Stephanie Meyer kind of cooked with that one, didn't she? And yeah, so they broke up 3 days after her birthday, which sucks. As someone that's been broken up with on their actual birthday, it's still yucky to wait 3 days, especially with how he was just icing her out. Then New Moon, they get back together in March of 2006. I think late March. March 22nd, they get back together. And this makes me angry in the books too. I want to do that meme where the bunnies get mad. They're like, sorry. But, it just makes me so mad because, why am I whispering like ASMR? It makes me mad because I think it's 6 months, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6 months. She comes back to her room after the breakup. All of everything they've had together, anything that reminds her of him, anything is gone. And she's like, man, it's as if we were never together. And he hid all of their stuff underneath her floorboards. I'd be so mad. And then he gets upset at her because he's like, I just can't believe you believed me during that whole breakup. He was like, I knew it was gonna be difficult, but you believed me so easily. Like, how dare you assume I would do such a thing to you? You did it. You did it. You did it. You did the thing. Like, you did do that. Like, he's like, I just can't believe you believed me so easily. I just thought you loved me. Like, I love you. He's like, I was planning to come back anyway. Like, it was so agonizing. Like, 6 months was so long. Like, the moment I heard you died, I wanted to kill myself. I'm like, I don't care. Do it. Actually, go to the Volturi. I actually want to watch you burn. I actually want to watch your head get ripped off. Hate you. Ugh. And so they get together March 22nd. They had been broken up for 6 months at this point. And for Twilight, they dated, how many months is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They dated for 6 months. So essentially they were only together for like just really 6 months. Dang. And March 22nd, June 13th, engagement. He proposes to her, which she does not want. Well, in the movies, yeah, she kind of says it. She's like, I just want to do the do with you. And he's like, I'm old-fashioned. I'm written by a Mormon authoress. I can't do that without marriage. It's a bad example for those tweens that read about us. And so she's like, you know what? Fine, I'll marry you. And they get married August 13th. 2 months later. So let's do the math here. They were together for 6 months, broken up for 6, get back together, and then essentially April, May, June, let's say 2.5 months, they get engaged. 8.5 months, they are engaged. And then 10 months, I guess you could say, 10.5, they're fully married. Wow, a very Christian relationship, if you ask me. And, forgot about the most important plot point. They have a baby immediately, because they get married August 13th, and then they have a 2-week, honeymoon. And when does she get pregnant? How far in? I can't remember how far in, but she's not pregnant for long. Yeah, because she gives birth on 9/11, 2006 to Rigatoni in Breaking Dawn. And so, and then the whole series ends, I think, on January 1st, 2007. And, ew. It's a very, very... It's a very typical Christian relationship. I can attest to that because I have witnessed it in Bible college, and it's just I have friends who meet the guy freshman year, and of course the relationship like guidelines we had there. You could not date the first 6 weeks, which is like, thank you for that. Because, man, people are basically trying to pounce on each other. Like, like I have friends, they met freshman year, they dated for 6 months or even less. I actually know someone that dated for 2 and then got married 2 months after that, so 4 months total. Wow. And now they're complaining about marriage troubles? Oh, awful. But it's very, because in Eclipse, Bella does not want to get married. She's like, my parents got married young. It just whirlwind romance. They had me, and then my mom left because she wasn't satisfied. She was like, she basically was like, I'm a child of divorce. Like, why would I want to do the one thing? And of course, Edward's like, vampires mate for life. Like, this is a sacred bond. Like, we're gonna be, together forever. And she's like, if we're together forever, why do we need to get married? And he's like, well, I'm from I'm from the 1910s Chicago, baby. I died of the Spanish flu. I believe things should be sacred, which I agree. I do agree with that. But, dude, you're 109. She's 18. Like, if you knew the absolute goal is you're gonna do it, you're gonna get married, or not get married, you're gonna, like, be together forever, which now that I am no longer young and I am the same age as Esme and she is 26, I would have really, really thought about being with him. I would have allowed the bite, and then I would have ran away and been a vampire nomad, and I would have lived the rest of my eternity. Okay? I would have lived the rest of my eternity being pretty in the woods. And what would my power be? I don't know. I've actually thought about it because I've written fan fictions where I end up with Jasper Hale or Emmett Cullen. And I want to say, you don't want to overpower your characters because people are like, wow, they can just do anything. But I want to, even though I hate acting, even though I have, like, a theater degree, like a chameleon ability, the ability to become anyone else, kind of like Mystique from X-Men, kind of like become anyone else. Like, ooh, because who would find you out? Except for Edward, I guess. But, like, who would find you out? Like, who genuinely would know? I could become anybody. Don't you bite that cord. Go that way. I could become anyone. And no one would know. And that's why, yeah. But, I don't know. I just want to be a little short girl that has a lot of power ability because I would kill people. I would not be a vegan. Vegetarian. He is getting on my nerves. Which, of course, you really think about it. He's not in his tank right now. Why not run away? But, in the books, Alice actually helps Bella set up her dream night with Edward. So Alice is all for this, And then Edward's kind of like, at first, and he's like, no, I can't. He's like, the most embarrassing line in the whole book and the movie is Bella's unbuttoning her shirt. And then Edward goes, no, keep your shirt on. And she goes, do you want to unbutton it for me? Like, the secondhand embarrassment I get every time. But, yeah, and then let's talk about also when they meet in Twilight, how he's just so flip-floppy with her. He's so mean. He's just so mean to her. And then he's like, we shouldn't be friends. We shouldn't be friends. We shouldn't do this. And she's like, dude, what is this guy's problem? Like, literally, what's wrong with him? Of course, in Midnight Sun, we find out he's like trying to save her soul, which he did for the entirety of the saga. And the whole time we're like, Edward. Everyone's like, Edward, dude, it's her choice. Like, let her have this. And he's like, ah. Well, he wants to be with her. sorry, but the moment she turns 22, why would she want to be stuck with a 17-year-old? Because their maturity levels stay when they are turned, which means he's forever 17. And she'd be forever 22, which I'm not saying frontal lobe has not developed for anyone. The only one that has a frontal lobe is Esme. And what is she doing besides sitting there and being a pretty wife and an occasional architect? But one thing I hate most about Twilight is the fact that they think relationships, like romantic relationships, have to be like you have to have it, like this is just part of it. And guess what? You don't. And Twilight honestly does set bad examples, because is that my hair? No, it's not. Because Bella puts up with a lot of crap from Edward. And in Eclipse, is it breaking up? No, it's Eclipse. Because she hangs out with Jacob throughout New Moon. And he helps her in those 6 months. He basically helps her. I'm not saying at that point he deserves her. But, honey, let go. But, he helps her and heals her, essentially. And so then at Eclipse, Jacob's kind of just sending these messages to Edward because he knows he can read his mind. And he's just like, in his head, he's like, here's Bella sobbing her eyes out in my arms. Here's Bella crying her eyes out because of you. Here's Bella doing this. Here's Bella trying to kill herself. Here's Bella not moving for days. Here's Charlie concerned for his daughter's well-being. Here's this, here's that. Oh yeah, remind. You broke her heart. You left her. You did this. You did that. You did awful things. And Edward's over here like, and Bella's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And I can't remember exactly what happens, but I can't remember if it's Edward or Jacob being like, no, I think it's Edward. He's like, Jacob's showing me, like, what was going on when I was gone. And then she's like, Jake, stop. Don't do that to him. Don't hurt him. Sorry. He hurt you. If anything, we should burn Edward. If anything, to the slaughterhouse. If anything, pick the bear. Because it doesn't matter what kind of form that man's in. They're gonna be nasty. And Jacob had his faults. First of all, she's 5'4", he's 6'7". Whoa. And he had his faults, yes. And he was sleazy and gross, yes. But he at least understood that Edward did bad things. he at least understood that Edward was not that great a person. He was very possessive, and he was very, like, you're gonna do this, it's just how it is. She wanted to go see Jacob in Eclipse. And he tore out her motor. Because he didn't have a good feeling about it. Oh my gosh. In Breaking Dawn, when they are engaged. Is it Breaking Dawn? It has to be Breaking Dawn. He gets her a brand new car, and it opens up with her trying to get gas. She doesn't know how to work it. He gets her a new car because he hates the truck. That's part of her identity. The truck's cool. And he's like, no, if you're with me, you're gonna drive how we do. Bella's the clumsiest person alive. You even called her a freaking martyr. Like,
brother, what's that?
why does she need like a government issued bulletproof? What is it? Like, I don't remember what it was. Was it a Maserati? It was something. It was huge. Why would she want that in the small town of freaking Forks? Who's coming to attack her? Well, I mean, Victoria and the Volturi. And then other vampires when she had her hybrid daughter, Ratatouille. But who's getting her? At that point, Victoria's dead. At that point, everything's okay. Essentially. What exactly does she need to be protected from? It gets me every time. But anyway. Let me pose. Hold him. Oh, my arm popped. Hold him up. Picture for the gram. I'm learning to love how I look. Completely natural. Ah, you just peed. Because, did you get that on my outfit? No. I'm learning to love how I look naturally because that's just how we are as women. Anyway, I just had to say that because I had a feeling to share my heart and to share that you can love Twilight. And Twilight's one of my top 4 movies on Letterboxd. You can love Twilight, but at the same time, you can realize and understand that it's a bad example for anyone. Ever. Ever. Anyway. This is goodbye. I am done. Good luck out there. And as Manly says his goodbyes, I wish you all a lovely Ides of March.